And watching me more car be my Badwam Jumedi, so no so about my pounds sima and watch it. Maybe I want to pay over no and children come a day man teach you and it will be a fin after or day ne feed to Adom TV. Adama J a day I will can see moon sama barber sinque brasso said in pensing mu at so na send your numeral and kunya de be a no yanam sa ayoso to adwen de boa mo man timifa nentuma pefra na yenam ne sa ayoso no biemu no na yama wo man abekra behe ai bia toa ne anananum eye edija ho ma ye no na nchirima so ba obebo yindi papa medini kaba koja sare ba for a champon obetimi asani and text messages 1760 network bia osu bia no ye bekenkan ana obetimi asani email kaba@myjoyonline.com anas feed so no obetimi asani tweet or handle no @kojo kaba na yetimi yatoa enkomodidie ne so ansa na yebekọ ene ensemo a aba eso no ifia no pa betena se text message ya kenkan bia nemum no ne aka no yente anu free ho na afi yemfa ene enkomodidie no entoa so ebra yekọ 1760 no so betimi edo wodi aba na ya kenkan etimi ama dwumadie no akoso wano na afi etimi aboayen anope yemfa nchi asonko mfama yenuanom amohwe Gabon alaji ono oyiri kubra no pe yecha mu yepapa akwara na amode na atumene ne ho ye de ye bompa e man se obenyini na oba besne me kra mode ato akwada no afi ambassador into Badwam o Equatorial Guinea una sigana nemu ha no pe yecha radonko also Equatorial Guinea no pe yecha yepapa text messages anope nia edikan aba yente enu free mu na afi yemfa nkomo to us. Happy birthday to my daughter Mami Pokia Boadu of Royal Beacon School from your parents Mr. and Mrs. Boadu and their birthday. I say Nana, I like you, keep it up. Greetings to my lovely one Mansa Kwashi Ransford Adan East and our dear brain Kaba. We need our money from my Sofoton. Tell Mr. President, code of ethics, no, and for him, my uncle Jessica, and for Emre. Nanaya, and then why if you papa, on Waria and Kameware, Sly from Tamale, and or the brain. Sly, she's married. Why? She is married with a son. Why? Oh, Kunu about. Why? Adem. To who be TV so na open. Za na ye no. Obi what? Ya munya sa de no. The road from Bechem through to Techmantia to Akomadan has been left on the drawing board for far too long. Aban enye bibi emfa ho Mr. Kotope ena ode brain. Or say is a program I can see or I can see. I want to know Kweku from Dabuase. Kweku agro kensi now say chi no ebi ho a because spoken no na ya yibi free ho na ya de we ashanti na agro kensi nti and say ya agro kensi esa chi no it becomes your friend is saying verbal so be wanum bebre ti na ye nsan kaba so ni akwasi prat ni honorable no kan nra no. It's very important. How do we or you channel that to government? Yaw. Oh, yaw. Aban nkoma edi hina aban wotie o. Aban tie papa. Why should the Supreme Court have the power to invite and advocate on matters they have interest? The space is too okay, I think your point is that they should not prosecute their own case. I say, as I'm basa no ankomodema another panel no mutina well. Well, that's your own so adventure. Hello to my mother, Auntie ya menu ya obugo so ishiriso Ebenezamwa ena or the ebre yen. Or say, please draw attention to all major bridges to be seriously assessed some of the bridges in the Greater Accra region are wobbling, and the Brahmafani Dian count. Kaba, please tell Mr. President that what is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. The DC for Bali is a native of the Bali, therefore, German North, Yensoso, Yepe in DC, Sarah, Semino, or the Fisampa, and the brain, or say the whole of Kratchi East, light, street light, back crying here, 3 years in ye, Adom, Williams, of Domabin, and our brain. Happy birthday in Koma. Millicent Wasa was in Yankupon Shira Papa. Dakonena or the Hebrain. Kaba, please, I forgot to add my rank to my name. Corporal Dakojo Richard. Once again, greetings to so we used to see a corporal, so I name it to me, but Sapon or Accra Central Police Station. Una commander at the Accra Central. Superintendent Sapon was see Ochia Papa. Also saying, Kaba, we applied for scholarship at the university, but Kwame, scholarship no crano. Aban so I sakra kakra unti sa wonte ya bisem. Why? Good morning, and how are you, Kaba? In fact, from Sehia Contombra to Sehia also, equine enye crack. Omampani intwa nani mfa mehwen one from Bosompim Sehia Contombra and or the brain. Kaba, please tell the president to appoint Boga Nash as our only DC or no bit me IBB Diamai in the Pru district. Halidu and or the brain. Kaba, I don't know in anaya some more but nasina mo checha. Ya mon fanchi bin fama ye him for so a womo ewo sremu mantem. Aden mo pesa mo chire saying. Ena afi nso no ya monchia enkran ahemfo nso ejei eya echia mikaisa na yakra kan ahemfo mo Greater Accra ntiri nkran ba won se gama nchensem no aye na akubo bidin na ja bidin akofa asomaba ti ebe chi ahemfo mo Greater Accra any northern region, upper east and upper west. And pay papa. Kaba, what's going on in the police service? Recruits who passed out at Boga had accidents on their way to the attachment place. The service refused to provide service vehicle to convey them, and they instead hired a metro mass. That led to the accident, killing 2 people. But I don't know how you can link the two. Even though the police found for karma na omu ko han metro mass say omu fa nkwa nkwanhia de etimisi mpacho ya linkages no mama emu na okakra. One or say good morning Kaba, thank you for the good job. One for Nidian account. Or say Kaba 270 and a number bang EC can hide Bonino Nensus Nyankupumbe Pom Hontuma Baru from Sankori and the brain. And I think the last 2 text messages. Another one or say Kaba one nanaya mubetrasia mochia asante ni achemne brahafo. And so Gan Chiefs a hokrana muye adwuma masa so na motie adwuma no ya monchia wom ada mumfa buo mfa ma wom ana so wa achempim atieku so wa ya chia e ne mutum se ya mo ohen asumasi no wo bentin bidin eno de no kre oka ende no kre ne mum ya chia e nana ya ebo se nkramante ma nti ya mo so yesrem ya mo nso muntie ne ye mfa ma why se ne be ya wadwene mu nkoye nkensene ne. We if you're sick about please tell the president to 10 Crawford Road, Womran Womhero, Sansa Honsunye, Kwame Nkrumah, Kurum Kwan Penny, one from Cosmos, Eziama, and our day brain. I say, God bless you all for a fruitful work every morning. Mosoria Humachimbe Ejuma. Kindly wish Marshal Boache of SZA Jabin in Ashanti region a happy birthday for me. Ataboache, and or the Ebrain. Can I please tell the president, say, Ghana National Fire Service, yes, so Enyema Enkoye Kra, one from Ima in the Volta region. The final one, or say there is corruption and anger and pain at the Defense Ministry. Kaba, please turn your antennas to this area. All right, Etina text messages are eba kakra anope enie. So obekaya enra wo peduase presidential lodge o mampani kopao a code of ethics and conduct edema government appointees, ministers and their deputies. Na o mampani chimu wo hwese ne ebe ya ebete ketasihye proye ene eniema bi etitisa conflict of interest ne won krone ba na enumu ene o mampani gina so ka se wo hwese sa na so afo yi ebe kenkan krata no na wo magina so ede aye adwuma se ne ebe ya emfa oha obi amfa nkomre wo mu na se koba ne sa na obi ekoto emra ana sa code of ethics bi otia so ba bi dia na chese onipa kro na adwuma ana eba abebo no anu na ye governance and leadership nso a sa ne me ya na tai play role ana wa Kenya sonku bia ya efa so na susu ampa se sa code of ethics ya na efiri he mpendodo se na ba bia wo mu bi kra ya na ye adwuma na yebetumi akase ne omampani ya ye be adwuma na ye nim hu ni ndie nti ye bekọ onimdifo ho Professor Stephen Adai ye kane kwankyere for penny ede ma Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration yitweniti awa efreno Gempa yenko bisa no sanse eniema we see wabin wo mu ye papa prof anope so tie nka ye mo ache na ohunam boko de
Adom
ye da se papa niema se nu de ye ba wakachi mu a na chese ye die mu a na ya ba mu no a ye governance any leadership amamuo ne mpanini ne nkanimfo no a ya na wo musuba wo de na die se wo mo abamu ni tisu ewo nipa mu ana akukua mu no ya na nya nsunsanso wo amamuo so susu ampa se code of ethics ana conduct se ye de sha adwuma bi mu a ya na ho faso ben pa na ya na adwuma ku ana wo man no nya
yo medasi adia mi se yes sir who the kind na o asebi o trimu na nka enkire o medi wachi a utimi nyina bibi so entwe wo maso entino the code of conduct and say nkire ya o pese adwuma no edamu no wo de ba ebwa efi ekire no so obi fuma na ke se obi ngaka se o na minim na mum eno eya adia baby ukoduma mu a ye wo ayi asa obaduma na mo twe sem asa ukoduma a upon no num mpanyifo no pese de aduma ene da ho a ubitimi gina so asa samra ni ho no ma in the code of conduct say akanka efa proyection no wo de basa na panyin le ba eye you do say o man panyin na say o hede wo ye no wo habo no mo ne o mo ye no a em say e ade a tre bia de bia ibi mpanyinfo na o say the border pass say what this saba me a mepe sa code no na makai na me mu kire mama ho madu na wo ho na mmom eno ko ade enu kwa amapo ye nyai if you say you can be a head one on ngotwe a say obi a na ba no ngotwe Ghana for you can be pon no ma be ko no me ansa na obi e ni ho no mo enti no wo hihye ahyehye no kwa no ma bi ho no ma say usisu bia no ma mienu afa mienu ye di kai e wo say wa wo shemra no ara woman dey di pefe bani focus leadership example say wo di kai as a wow ma ubra no eye ya o ma di wakire no mu suo no mo hweso ni mienu so as say o de mra na adwuma e bi so ya twa bebre wan fa anya adwuma nti huti na gidi se Ghana ha no mo ansa na sa ade ne ba adwuma no ma num na te da di kai or say president ni vice ni obi a eti declaration of assets no o stop the to obi a hu se uba no ye na wo nie o koso so ade wo nie ye si o yes a eni nko obi a mpese lo ye aban adwuma so boa so okay akonfo na mpese yo we so mo kro no a na wetin a kire se me da mi si kani na me si ye enya dia enya no kore enno o se de bi ka so mienu o ti enya for your shafu your shafu anti corruption Ekrobia independent of the government. Any who say we have Joshua Hamidu or Kwampo Kakre.
Martina Midu.
But your man in the Monyam. Anti-corruption. And yet you share Attorney General saying no normal so by the power one that you can share about the penny one. Yet also me and fact. Or say your man and normal be pray who cook up was no way no my quite can you simplify system no. Now I say or say amount for no who say don't go ya by Juma say now you're the four. Okosun Minister Okatia Kuraya Tuma na say na call 8,000 Ghana 8,000 yefi and so the bushia for no be able to see a that baby amobia into a public education so ebesia and it is a presidential initiative of attitude change as I said National Commission in normal of civil education no yet to my Ghana for the credit. One of my any honor, a pecia cohort no bocrono, and to be honor bocronoa, and you're gonna need one. It is not you have, and put a catcher and you have a year fast war. We are called not a 200 Ubia called Numa and Ubia said, Quap Bermana via Tika, a bonnet. That is what we are. Into yes, that's all my opinion. They have here, your water basso, then we want to us and calling him.
Professor, we mu a answer na code we bebe no aban nyuma mu say wo mo direct government appointees any public servants any civil servants no wo kwan bi so no ebi wo ha sa code ni ebi wo ho dada ebi wo ha ya tworo ebi wo ha ya ntworo e se wo de wani famu a kosi enra kra no mampani pa afoforo hu ntoma no a wo betimi aka se sa code of ethics any conduct no over the years aye adwuma
now, and it said, apart from code of conduct, a mrakran, ye were mretia, and the young man said, a decafono, and so. And now, said you, that would not have a Yinamoa, wouldn't say that. And Tino, Nina, American, a general settlement penny, and not be a children back whom you be a year set. Where dear, yen, you were my emperor. Daddy. You see, can some daddy, and no my what daddy. Now, fails to be around the year. If you can't quack, if the baby Juma, Yakuasu, and yet, and no, my, yes, I get the data, the Okayan, and Yajuma, if you say, one my and 1 moon, do one my in the soup. You got a zero tolerance and up above 45% tolerance of corruption. 90 OBF, and the Ghana for a bar. Would you be on Adom, Madame Penny? Would you Penyan be a tree? More, he said, hey, a quay. Yes, soon as it will be the Cacranza, would be adding other farm. You won't say, only be none so be Albertana Super, will be a yes.
Sasa media ya na man for her so who be di kakransa who no so mu nyina afa ho de ko
you if you say nya de ba ku shi wa funu mu na so ye na gina fa o ya so ye om ka se o se beti utu
na ya nhwe na wo ka se ti se ade ba kwa wo hwani mu se aban betimi ade a kire ene ketashe ne project kompa ne se wo mo assets wo mo japade wo no wo mo publish so obisa ho asema ya na ba mu penifo asema mo kan se emra ehye auditor general say oba wo japade wo asset declaration form o de ba koma no envelope kura wo de sakrata no be shemu auditor general no po oni utumi mpo so obebi envelope no an wakohwe nia wo achoro krata no so samra no prof unyini se brasa se yesesa no
you no one you know the edikai so padia you aka say oh me de emra so na me di said you said na hamra e ma me kwai ma mitumi ware nan ana se du aso no me kristoni obi anfa mra ma me yire ba ko entino the edikai no so mpo bi ayo a mpo ade ase o di nika shide mpo na ma so o di nika shide entini eno ade a o mo mpe corruption ho aye ho adwuma o mpe se o mo wi a emre o ko ya mitumi dia adwuma ye to so mi yenu me no ya adwin so mo se mra no na mo mo kwa no mo se mra na se ye di ya o se president na ye mra no ho ebibi epila de be me now they can. They must say, your cost will near the or say, yo. Man, a bit at the farm. Then, mum, you know, I said, do one, but you form a car near candy up in him. Young car, now ye I yet. I say, with your man, but you for the thing I say, what for safe and you.
The Crocodile Prof, we are very specific. Sunset, Nansea Ubo Martinami Dudi or Supreme Court, what have you, I sufutons and semi, I say, Yentia is the calm farmer, you know. Anti-corruption for Dubia Peja and Semnoa Casse. One more and number Muswa ye tree as Sessica Muno. A bit as well or a bemoa or move or cry yamu dibia who will be a Mrs. Sabri Yentis woman Penimpo Akasa found 7 Pobia. Martina mi du yebo abaso ade a waye da wase ni ade wo monti o mampanin kasa wo ho enti se ne wo the code of conduct ana ethics bar amanfo dodo no akase we di o mampanin sabi o yensi ni hu de adada kra wo ho no onye ho hwe foforo bai ene enya ade ba akosi aga woni o mo ya adwen sa
abuza ade pam you no ye di kai no ade akokọ na ende wotumi mbombo ni pedin wo bra woni ayini na nemo binu am amidu de the born baso wo yo bia wa kire se o mampa na o mampa China for no ka se o kwantuo se o ko ba bi kura na se kwansin mpim apimwa o de na mo ba ko edikai bi stress bia we no president yo no to edikai no o wonka ho asema o hati aka umi enyu no umi mo na baso nemo ya me tell me kai no we nko code nko ade enyehu aje se what do you say yo na de o kanu we do this so de am say we de make see ho ha no we say na mi ni amati am de people no support no na me job on things ya say de wa ya mo ma no onya mi shira no na o ma ye nyina akoko duro ni ntimi iduru ya so a nti to make na ho sa
yo Anopai Prof, Ghana for the wase, any wajenchre ni nchichimu a odi abre, ye ni je ho pa ye da so papa.
Yo, ne,
Professor Stephen Adai, kane kwanche for penny de ma Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. You try to tell our friend Gempa, kane rector, and anopai ye ni di nkomo no so abo apa mu pepe or Adom TV, Badwam ni guso ade bre o no. Na one simple from on a corruption perception index. What you say, Nipa Bese Edunum and 54%. Ejidi se proye ene ketashe akonanim ewo memuha na yede no be hye we mu ni akwa kubisa se no akosi sen na Ghana Integrity Initiative for 24 yensa kan wo mu a yeni wo ebedi saase me ho enkomo ye ka say no ura Vitus Azim country director adema local chapter for Transparency International Ghana Integrity Initiative yebedi nkomo we obrafo kasam echi edi nchemu kakra dia ba wa kan kasam. Mr. Azim, thank you for joining us here on Multi TV. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Great to have you. And would you say the publication by government of a code of ethics and conduct for its appointees and ministers and deputy ministers is a welcome news for you?
Yes, it's a welcome news. As a society, we have to have some laws, some standards for the various categories of people that have been placed, elected, or appointed to serve us. So it's a welcome idea.
But, you know, over the years, for you as an anti-corruption crusader and those of us in the media, have cited a lot of these code of ethics and conduct in most public institutions, and we are yet to see a full implementation of these code of ethics and conduct. How sure are you that this time around this one will work?
Yeah, definitely I cannot be sure that this will work. But then the more we talk about it, the more, at least it's a document that commits the government, and it's a document that we can now use to call on the president and his ministers to to point out to them that they're not complying with the code, then insist as the media, as the civil society, as citizens, that people comply with the code. So the first step is to have the code. It could be an indication that the president is willing to fight corruption or to make sure that his ministers do the right thing. But then it probably needs our support, civil society, the media, to ensure that he's able to succeed. But then the commitment must come from him by acting against people who have not complied with the code. If there are infractions, if there are violations, sanctions should be imposed on the people that engage in those infractions and violations. If he does not do that, people then act with it.
Mr. Azim, I'm sorry, but we are having a very terrible line. If you can reposition yourself, we would be happy about it. Yes, and then as I pose the next question to you, have you yourself seen a copy of the Code of Conduct?
Yes, I have a copy of it with me.
The most difficult thing for a lot of people is that a lot of these ethical issues borders on human behavior and the sanctions thereof that are supposed to be imposed on any person who fell or fall foul of the ethics. Have you cited any sanctions that you think is quite commendable? You think that, because I understand a lot of these sanctions are supposed to be at the discretion of the president?
In fact, the code gives the president discretion over all the sanctions, and there are just 4. One is to demand an apology. He can issue a reprimand. He can ask the person to resign or terminate the appointment of the person. Everything is on the president, and maybe by implication the vice. But this is all that is in the code. So if the president does not have his eyes everywhere, if the president does not put in place other people to monitor the work of the ministers, or if people monitor and they don't report to the president, then it's likely that no action will be taken.
But is that enough? How about if we find a corrupt officer? How about retrieving the money with interest? How about prosecution, for example? These things are not in the code. Is that...
Yes, they are not in the code, and I've said it on another station that the code stops short of these 3 basic things: possible prosecution, possible sacking with financial implications, and recovery of monies or even assets acquired with stolen monies. It's not enough to just ask the person to resign or to terminate the appointment. There are certain times you resign and go with benefits. Certain times your job is terminated and you are given benefits. So you don't suffer any serious loss as a result of your non-compliance with the code. But then if you know that you can be prosecuted, if you know that any money you've stolen can be recovered, if you know that any assets you've acquired with the stolen money can be seized from you, then you are likely to be deterred from taking such action.
Whilst we still are on the topic or issue of corruption, your organization, the GII, is reported to have stated that a report that is yet to be released, the Corruption Barometer, reports that about 54% of Ghanaians still think that in the last couple of years, corruption is actually on the ascendancy. Would you be able to explain this to us?
Well, actually, the report was released this morning at 5 a.m. globally.
I see.
And what the people are saying is that, these are people's views. In Ghana, it was GII that actually administered the survey across the country. We went to 2 districts in each of the 10 regions and interviewed in all 2,000 respondents. And this is from what the people have said. You asked the question, in the last 2 years, has corruption increased or decreased? So some said it has increased, certainly, some said it has increased, some said it has decreased a little, some said it has decreased. And what we are saying is that more than half of Ghanaians think that corruption has increased in the past last 2 years. So that is an indictment on us as a nation, and it means that we have not done enough with the fight against corruption, and we need to sit up.
It's interesting because as I take a look at the report in the Ghanaian situation for 2013, the police is still topping, followed by political parties, followed by the judiciary, the education system, public and civil service, parliament, recording 3.6%, the media 3.3%. That's rather interesting. We have medical and health services, business and private sector, military, with NGOs being below the table. Even though these are perceptions, these are quite serious. How does a GII, in collaboration with people in the media, want to, push this? I don't know how to put it, but it is quite disheartening, isn't it?
It is, and what we would want to do with the media is to push government to put in place, to strengthen the laws that are in place to fight corruption, to strengthen the institutions that have been put in place to deal with corruption, and to enforce all the laws that have been implemented and enacted for corruption. But also for us as citizens, to create awareness that at the end of the day, we are the people that suffer from corruption. And so we should resist it, we should condemn it, and even report to the appropriate authorities. If we're able to do all this holistically, it's not just taking one at a time. You must do all this. The reforms, the legal and policy reforms are necessary. The action is necessary. The strengthening of the institutions that are set in place to deal with corruption are necessary. And then we, civil society, we ordinary citizens, too, must play our role by condemning it, resisting it, and reporting it. But of course, when you report, you expect the appropriate institution to take the necessary action to deal with those people. We must fight to make corruption a very expensive venture. If you stand to lose your job, if you are caught in engaging in corruption, you will be a little bit hesitant when you are tempted to engage in corruption.
It's interesting, but it is also sad that today a lot of institutions where you go to demand a certain service from people who are placed in position to serve you, you are made to pay one thing or another, and it's become such a norm. It is no longer something that people are shy away from. How do we deal with this?
Well, that's what I have more or less said, that the only way to deal with it is to act on these things. If you go to passport office, for example, okay, this is just a real life situation. I go to passport office, I've completed the form, got all the documents, I hand over to the lady, they look at it, everything's okay, and then they tell me that go and come back in the afternoon for your documents to be scanned. So I ask, do I need to be physically there for you to scan my documents? And the lady just looks at me that they are busy, they cannot do anything about it. So I go upstairs and I report to one of the directors, who says, leave the documents, come back in 2 days' time and take your passport. Which means that the passport office can do this thing within 1 week, or even 2 weeks. Give you the time, go and come in 1 month's time and take your passport. You don't need to physically sit in front of the girl to look at you to scan your documents. But when they say that you go away and come back in the afternoon, spending 2-3 hours, they may even tell you, some go there every day just to pick their passport. It should be possible for the director of passports to tell his staff that anybody that brings his documents, give him or her the time to come back for it. Even if it's 1 month, I want to be sure that when I come back in 1 month's time, my passport is ready and I pick it. Now, if we're able to do these things in all service providing institutions, the situation will change. But unfortunately, we're not able to do this. And we, the beneficiaries, don't even report. We don't even talk about it. So we must report and talk about it and insist that the appropriate people take the right action.
Well, Mr. Azim, I'm sure we'll have to leave it here, but certainly the conversation will continue in various quarters. We want to thank you very much for your time this morning.
You're welcome. And you are doing very well by helping us to put this thing in the public domain.
Thank you. It was only a duty of ours. Thank you very much. Vitus Adabo Azim, Transparency International Local Chapter, Ghana Integrity Initiative. And you need to come on. You can say, no so about my pounds to my dear me and son. Emma, we are friend. Papa. So we'll do muko here. So call here. So, hey, Kaba, my busy. Now, no crowd be say name me text say, in fact, Enra, the informer published said, so what Jenia Koshe Bluchra Kwari. Emma Bufu baby. I just say mebre. Member of Parliament, Edema. Hey, okay, me for Western in Gawa, and I say me for Southern in Gawa. You say me for South, me South in view. Me South in view. I will go West. Member of Parliament, lawyer Esther Usu, Alpe Moaje.
Yeah.
Boko there.
Adom yaro, nyame daswe.
Why is it you?
Say stress no come from.
Stress in the come from Zaya and Eboa.
I can say this year me taking it easy for the first 6 months.
6 months now, we are in the 7th month.
7th month, Nintimaba. Internet stress now come from.
And informer the bias work
But I do not comment on informal articles. Me can say me can inform someone. Say menya hypertension wuntam. Inti send a my me ho say Ewrade do me reduce my stress levels. Na nu ani gina. One can do omo pe.
And front page pa bo pine.
Omo free me ton on paper nyene.
So wa call warrior man na do bu fu.
Obi why the baby sa me na why so the baby sa obisa na na do. Mpacho for topics so any. I don't discuss my personal life.
No, worry.
I do not discuss my personal life on air. Topics are the man I won't tolerate corruption. My name was not mentioned in court. Ghana is not broke. Me who as low as has said, what they mean can answer.
I'm not for Poasemo. It is one what it is answer. No, I am 1%. Why any no who near Cosso? I'm not for check you. So, Papa. So, I would do one for check you. The American is a faint heart, never won fair lady. Hey. Faint hearts. Never. One fair lady. That's all I'll say on the subject. Wait, you me free share Well. Anyway, I hope you had a good rest.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Fantastic. Code of ethics in the conduct. And shall say, minimum say by profession, lawyer, and in the legal profession, more ethics in the who do people share say, we a lawyer, ni we be so bit me, we won't mean any other. You say President Aibi, also Yibiaman and ministers, and deputies, and other appointees. Now, woman who say, we a conflict of interest, we a corruption, a bribery, a say, wow, betino, let's say, or the oil, Ampamoa, na yebe huru se be odin ade papa Badwam mo
adwuma bia mame nchie tiefo and especially Ablikuma West for any omwa even while I was away they were in the trenches working no adwuma ne de yenwie yeguso enti mebo mo abaso sere won se enche parliament choruses nso a omo se omo afemi omo hu mi nyina ye bo mo anaso mako enye boapayo adwuma na any commitments ntini omo hu ntimi mo nyina achi na me da omo nso so a boa me adwuma ne nyina nso so me do mo nyina ase wo constituency adwuma bia wo ya wo se ye fa wadwuma bia mu a wo so to wo na usua sɛdeɛ adwuma no mmra esitie na watumi ehu sɛdeɛ obesi ayɛ adwuma no afa na emi sɛ when first time political appointees ya kyerɛ wɔn sɛ adwuma no ni so sɛn na tie meka okay sɛ minim sɛ okay a ya bɔ abia samwa na Ghana Integrity Initiative time a MPP ba ban mu ɔmo say Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. That time, then almost set coalition up.
Madame Florence Dennis, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost a code of conduct be for public officials, particularly political appointees. The almost through workshops, training, sensitization. No more said the ABCI Jumano Afa. Minim say MPP fear bem first NDC administration under Professor Mills. Almost so echo through our training now, but I would presume say one more year. Enti we nye bibia a year at the forefront. It is not so much the fact say ya code of conduct ethics for public officials na news no. A year enforcement. A ho and a problem no. If you say be nyad omwa ya fa won nya fe ni first timer omo ba bem. Many of them many of them ayaban adwuma da. Ebinom nso wo ho a eye won first time. Enti strictly speaking the enka ebinom de omunim papa no no omunim bone no. Na se afoforo no nso so fa adesua de ye refre eba enti ewo mo a wo se ye call refresher course ni ade ade. Ne hia ne se this administration so ehun se ehun hia. Se yebe chire womo a aba ban mu kwan ye wo so mo fa so eyo mo adwuma no yaka conflict of interest yaka ka em say it's that time 2001 time asan komoyi ye sha se AD no one of the key issues about so crap any gifts how to treat gifts. If you say Ghana will be sorry a hampers near the idea end of the year near Swadia bar in nine near the idea near Swadia bar. Kaiser time what Attorney General's office crap will make call on the US visitor program. Echo Department of Justice with US. Echo whom Omo Office of Government Ethics. Permanent Office of Government Ethics. Because you see I can cry and no be can who bintina. President Kufuor by Office of Accountability. No, yes, it was all part of that. There's a permanent Office of Government Ethics. Every appointee, the limits, and also so it is spelled out. In fact, I still have a copy of one videotape, write-ups on government ethics somewhere among my stuff. It's spelled out. Want to make gifts above a certain amount. Obima or gift above a certain amount, it was set or report and surrender it. Sana 1 year influenced. Gifts and so they are taxed. Memo ha ye de euphemisms mean who's the missing kind of retrieve. Kasakwa de siesi bonehu. Adia yin say enya no ni a kata ho ya siesie no kama na de ato ho na yenya defense, but wrong is wrong. Wo adwuma bi mu na obi beche wade a ade che de nka nye bone nanso e wo so obi sa se nka ordinarily say nipa no ba beche made ana na me de example of many people in public service you free adwuma wo ye ni mu a me de be ye mfato ho wo ye adwuma bi a but some swan companies where ye bro hamper, ye bro gifts, ye bro cards, ye bro way. Ofi adwuma ni mu pe. Emebio.
It is a office na na woti ni
ntira. You adwuma na wo ye ni nti. E na no mo mouse ha no. Na adenti na no mo de sa niam na was it because they almost feel say omo ni wa na ye adwuma nti was ye de sa niam na na. Corruption, conflict of interest. Woni pefe so say adwuma in fact yes, see in Crawford, I don't have it on authority. Enti we meka say in somewhere nanam officials be a omo work position say ebema adwuma bi no. And then the conflict of interest no. Omo ti ho kire if I insider knowledge ni ade another part
inside trading.
Crime kese. Yenye
ansa na adwuma no be ba bontia publish ni afa nipa no kra da.
Ya fa nipa number be ye ni nyina ne deda. It's wrong. It's against the law. But ye. Uba say binumo crapo asset up one dummy companies, members of boards. No one can set up dummy companies because someone him say you may be babe pie. Na ya ma information no mo dia bid. E binumo cra fact na sen cra company be sue yen war abrochire. I think almost sue AMA about Conti program no Koleo Lagoon sanitation program bina omo yen company be say omo proposals by and omo anwene bid no and so AMA4, meaning if it is true, I mean that is what is being reported in the papers. AMA4 atam sa contract ne de ama Conti4 na Conti4 de akoje Exim Bank loan dom de ba be the same kind of contract no. If it is true, that is an example of obi intellectual property mo so so mafa e chire kwan bi so e de profit, which is all against the law. Na ya kan na amanfo emfa nya asem em se omemu ha ya ne se ye bu ye ni gudema bebre so na enema ese se odi sa inside information knowledge ma obi a obenwo ma okobede ma contract na se obetumi aye so ontumi nye se wo obema the best deal for the government and for obeye adwuma in the best way, value for money ni nyina ye nhwe ho asem nka because onia no obe ebenwo enti kwan bi so no na ye ha oman no. It is not just public political office appointees na was the omususia sa dwumadie ye nyina ye adwuma, especially public and civil servants no, so they need this kind of training. Enti media e kamen ko anka me advocating po say yenti permanent office of government ethics ni biwa. To say the President Kufuor office of accountability.
But I know crano so ye dia katakata proyeso.
Well, in a way no, maybe no one take the rationale behind Ninti or TSA office no or establish no one ye. But maybe minim said enunti and or TSA office no. Senka office ni nyadwuma yi ni nyina yaji tu mu se ampa eyade ye na yenhwe na yensho wadwuma no kena na yemma omonye adwuma no kwan ya ebeboa ye nyina enke beboa ye instead ye bastardize na ofi aban mu a for the past 4 years yan nwen se bibi se hu hia eye grafos gen yakoklo
in circles yakwa
ba sa ba be kayen eneni judgment that is me emi enuni Auditor General's reports are so many such incidents of bad dealings with public funds ever happy. Yensa enwi hu bio. Na yemma nkrofo nkonkosua say na yenso so ye develop bibi senya ebeboa. It's not enough say why you code for just these people. One chire won da bia. From so de eni ye nenam. Bone so is all over. Say bonyoma bata mrebuo ho. And the tendency for people to fall foul of the law no is there. Only constant education in church and a bebwa. Now, sir, America for office ne ministry department and agency biara ethics officer wo. Enti unya situation bi na wonnya too sure akokobisa. Na wachiro say there be yense yankeye. We yense yankeye. I would advocate such an office in this country because memye debia semeto debia otibi kra na akoma na ya kan kosihwe nipa ne ya bone ne abuya ne aguso. Talk is cheap. Rhetoric ne dia o kan enya din na yes do the do and some ne ba na mo a wo betu a be ma nipa ne ho sampa would you say ebe yodo eno na bema amanfo anya gidie wo mu se ampa asem na okan en wan kan wa ensem bebre yasi 2011 Auditor General's report na babeto justice ya ensem pupuruja ye beto abemu ye tinsem bebre niama ye che amanfo contracts ye Alote Jacobs minishia something few years ago Peace FM. No, I can say election no be can say we sit down be. No see you campaign there home fast one no. Omo that campaign no. Omo fa ho edidi. Enti ama abeto nipa bi adwen mu say it's an avenue to make money. Enti so omo de omo enya bi saa. Menka so no na kan senti na abeto nipa adwen, but that is the common perception say once a campaign, political campaign, there's a lot of money afloat to buy votes or to do the work of the campaign. People can take advantage of it. How do we account for all that? And also, so your question was here beside you. Enti, ye na ye to yambona ye suensia ni ye na se after ya church obiano won't mean cancer na wunnim. Say obi bechew pens cry or pens are nebo di any gifts above 100 cedis, 200 cedis also declare.
Sometimes Ghana cry gift tax
and they gift tax. And no interest accepting your gifts no
money. A bro a certain threshold will be a tax.
Also, and so my penny that I will be chair car or says will be chair car oh you know. And won't some buy and the year I say this is one of the first Millennium Excellence Awards. No, said I'm dredging this. One of the first awards. Obi Mbeche Mrs. Rawlings Kabi Eme Hunsem Bibri by Mercedes or something. That was towards the tail end of the Rawlings administration. I'm using that. Me person made current examples. Be na semwaba na kuredo me kan say me ma wachi me kan say de why no I'm aware of it but this is just to illustrate the fact say obi ma wo achede bi a bro a certain amount so I was say one kasa who say answer bibinti na all ma wo sa achede no ana bibi a all expect say wo be ya ma no nti na all yes anya say pa ope wasem nti me me fi Vampo. Time na me wo Westel no. Afeso na hampesa me.
Niema na eba no.
Dai, dama.
Ufiri ho no no.
Omo adabia na ye frɛ otemfa me wata ne general's office. Nkrofo bi adabia na me ne omo esan ye adwuma no. Me fi ho na me nti won kana frɛ won say na wofa ana ewura etisan ya na me mo bi adi. Oh, what is say me ho ye na me say na say me to nka cho me wo ya mefro besine
enene
enti se uwo dibia bi mu na amanfo ewuru fa oso na ye ne na mo ho a men kase
ye ne osire kwa
thank you
gwamse fa kan ne nyumpa opepa ba akoro no ye ne osire kwa za luwa nyuma
e ya momo mpempem time so mama wa ye lumba
okay mami adwa kan me director o se ya hwehwe ye ne osire kwa ene mpimpim tanwa mpimpim so bedo no ngochiabo ora George Atta ya manfi mrahye bedwani watenase opanie mu achimo akwaba ansa na meba so ye ba kwaje nkrato aba na esa wo kan America asemi a wo kan na mama atwemaje ankogina so ebra Obama eba ha no won se Ghana ban che ne ye watch bi ema okudu America hunsem bebre ma de koma sa office ya wo kema ye kase eda America for Obama no akasa onyusu da
it's not enye Obama enye America pill because of the tendency say office obi achewade enti e wo say won so wo ye bibi ma no nti no e bro a certain amount I would declare yeji
mekai pa
yeji every you don't take it to use it yeji enti be ko ho no gifts are yediama American presidents over the years. Nina wo ho na onia odema on nso no. Nidi e wo ho. It's a permanent record. Ya hade ye ya.
Kode.
Ow.
Ora George Atta bebam na ansa na ye gojin kratos ma ye ba meba Ora George Atta ho na afi code of conduct any ethics. Baby a ye di free. Estama some useful suggestions. Ebisa aban mu mpanifo se wo de ka we hu a ebetimi aboa ma ya konketa hye ne proye ana ye basisia afira ato a mo akwa na nwotwe abo ma pa nsima nwotwe Adom TV Badwam and a guso ayedi nkomo no George Atta a member of parliament de ma Amenfi Central na madam lawyer Esla Usu a member of parliament de ma Ablikuma West nkomo ayedi fa enhye ene bugu so nko a mampani apaunt ma enra ya odi hwese nasoafo omo abedi echi ne aban Adom ye fontitu ne wo mo a oni omo ye adwuma no ometimi edi so ma yakonketa hye ne proye ene ho nkomo ne edi Orata ma memra so na fe ye misa se we no aba no e ma me se ya de papa ni mum ye nye niam bi fanka ho ni nhemu kina wadwen kire ho ne de
yo kaba me dase se da bia se de ye no menchia Abanfi Central for na ebi nko nesi wa no mo odu nko ofi nyina amsa asemi emi nua mara ka bebre nti mintumi nka no dodo sa nsensem ebe boso no faana wa boso no de minim ni se sa code of conduct no enye na start parliament mi se oho we standing order sinima ebi ekire ye ekwan bi osi efa so ebo ye bra wo mra hye dwedwom ho eno mampanin so apa abedwefo so mo nso enhwe ya abanso afo no na seri okan na yade papa na mi pure mi free say ache ne maye na che na esenka entempa no etumenya bibisa fi so hwe yabakosemu ne yabamre mu a se yisi wo hene kura wo efie wi a yefre bibisi yede ni ko hyebuom e ka se yede ni ko hyebuom na yede ni ko hinta baby ni ye kire nana kwan wi no so ofa so fura wontima sei na so okasa bedwam nana ni ye we nsese wo ye nti ye kire kire saa ni me nyina se wo ye abusua panini kura na ansa ne mfa abusua panini ma obi se wo ne abusua panini no ewe se nipa no obra ho te we woni ye usuban ene obi bia no ayade nipa betumi akanse mpade afa ho saa na se wo ba ye mpanimfo ye yiye mu a si yetu kwan free Ghana ha ne kwa abrochire bi kogu ye ho anim ase ho a enye nipa no ogu ni ho anim ase ne nkwan na egu anim ase o
ne oman ni nyina
oman ni nyina ebi kan nyina timi de mi free say enke ese ba ye kura ache yenim aban panimfo asoyafo mrahye bedwafo ye gu ye ho anim ase bebre free say saa ne manima wi no na eni ho ntino free say se ba ntemo a ka bingiri se saa ne manima bi a nkesisi tia na tototo mpanimfo bi ma enam so bi kura de edi bre to honom enam so ma ebinom entumi anko bi amrahwe bedwam bi ba ne yentumi anfa omo bio no free senka saa ne manama no enka ne nyina ensi se ye fa se oye aban panim a ana aban nipa titiri bi a ana amrahwe bedwani bi a tumi ne ye de ama wo no enye wo de wo amanfo dia oda edoma no nti saa adom no ena ugina homa wo se me gina homa amanfi central nti se me ne ye ne misuban bibia no anko yia edom na ameda no ena magu wo mani masese nti ne sese nana ekodi bia agoboni bia na se enie bia enya yentumi mani ne yanim bio yenyinu free hono no efri se omfata so weba ekuo na yate ne bedwoma yi mrahye bedwom no mrahye bedwom die no ba so no edi kan na ye nso akiri na yedi ebia beka ho meka ho bi fi se ne ye hwe o ma ache mrahye bedwom kakra ne pedinfo na dida ya no na yedi aba meka ho bi na kaba ye nsem nyina na ye kana bontin ese nka me kan bi ahwe ya meka kura agumia me nua binom animase
because parliament dey say the same code of conduct you say yet parliamentarians ni bi nsamo omo kan say omo anyi omo yempanimfo nya fe ni ebe hye mra say omo nkodi so the human beings a free man freedom but it is any some omo bi kan na anu o say
no o chire na dwene die na nso no
so hu ni pakra me kan
o me se me Odo ye play no for that we be any kind of oh no watch na dwene nso kwan bi so no no kure kwan bi nso no o hwa ne ho wo hwe bi a ebi no mu ofiri se saa na obi a te den so beduru ho no be hu ne se ye nyina ye ntesa ana me ka se me ka eni he bi ebi bada na di a se to mre bi ko to sempanimfo bi akodwabo bi ase na sebi besere meka ho menka sɛ yɛ mrahye bedwafo na menka sɛ yɛ ministers se dru bra ye ko didi ne kora na kaba wa wi
ase film
ko hwɛ kwan bi ebi no kora didi bedwam ne yɛ
wo ka sɛ sebi pre bi asa na ye wo go ni kora de nya monko na nsentro ni sa bra na me reporter me kwa abonten no that's like mobo
well no was very
oh Ediane. Oh, ebi kura ba TV so na say presenter omu say adwumaku bi e mo a say asay na food and drug board for on ba kire yiwie ensanjro for ko.
Na mo na asay no.
Just say dem bo hare ho.
O say me kwa man kwenzi na wa.
Oh, me sem bebre.
Na enye say me court ye hye ne kai ya boyi.
Eh bio.
Ene ye me ye honorable so. Honorable dan kasa ne de be free omu apia bodin. Bizo ye teacher di bitumi wura classroom na wo hwe akura bi anim dwobi ne na no ayi bi aye ne hu bi oditi onim say akura no ni jimi for poti edem ho no. Enso be hya ase sa fi obi se bisa nsem no ko bisa na sa akura kura person osori ya no onyaya nko apia na tenase.
So obi kura no nya nsa no.
Enso be hwe se obi sa nsem na obu nyina ntwi akura na wubu ne se bi ono no nya papa no. Bo nso no bu na ahya ase ya oyi nsem na fi ogina so asa akura wonyimi yo. Nani mum na ayesa. Enti bronika se mo say appearance are sometimes deceptive. Ube hu cratch ni pa bu se bia ni pa we pa de. Se de wasi address no ba na ne hotie no. Oh, we de. E da ma bebre. Fi se o hwa wade mu a e mata hwe onipa appearance abonten de no. Ansa no monya dokora de ama ho. Enso bi obenya dona ma wawie na afi obi no beduru fi no so se ba me kwa kwase mpani bia ne nse. Enso di osusu se oro de bia nka na appearance ne ma ne bi nye no. Obekọ no hu se sa oye be ma ye ware no. So into appearance no sometimes a deceptive. Na dia me hwere se aban on se say aboa ne be enam ne profit ditiri. Edi se aban sha ase efri ne ti se de wa start ya. Ebe boa ye nyina yesum ye mfidie bebre me na yi yen ye firi se ne nim se die sitie no efiri se hwe se ye ba mra hye bedwami ebia ne se ye keka mra hye bedwafo ne ho yi mi amete ye de bia ye ne se kufi ata de se ne wo sori a university for me in odu omachi na se ensem bebre
on ka
tan
What you want to be afraid of phone so? Oh, your friend must messy. Say you, man can say, Uber, what do you drink? Oh, bra. Baba, I was able to say to Conoma. Petre, who has sense and who any must say.
Who? Nancy, Miss Ghana of one and an parliament.
Oh, say this a baby.
Ah, Murray.
So, and the credit is I don't mean about and say, Honorable, may you, Nakaba. Never see me tears you. You pay your tip with a copano. Begin a hoto. I feel I'm petting when I'm sitting. I'm Sandy Bay, you can't say code of the review at Yabon, Tinny Free Sabia. A quaben and Brashibi phone she atadi, Quamben, and this out beyond that. A combrosa, maybe about a canberry. I can't be here. Sentempano, and it's your to me sees enemy no quaya. I don't know a newcomers now about Naba Conca. Young penny for Moody Abro. And I'm so a day. Also, will be a parliament for. Moncherry be
that's all the more orientation. Portfolios a game power.
But you don't know what to do.
Yeah, good. And
you don't know what to do. It's when you be or do or bet say once on them sink or swim.
Bobby Cratty Parliament to a fofro. Ah, but when Mr. Sebisabi Yarek hospital be receipt bar. You bet your man. Oh, money. Oh, when he. Or can I announce a Thomasum? Free and young ting to be a home. Odipa about from many what you say will be a bedroom parliament to be a Yansen. Mr. Can say, Unim BBR. You almost say your own penny for more dear one boy a brave you, be an sick you, would new be any as when you are Bremoni, a EBR, our bedroom, a shibidum. And so near man to be a home, as our children. If you didn't making such and say, as soon as you hire obey a quine saying you bet me a woo. Saying you bet me do fast war, but I'm an enemy. Into Bohumbai. Oh, Ninano, and Yadia Cherry. Sana Benuma, I can see Munano, a tear. Over coffee, Bino, or be a basso or Baba Serem, one over Seru, or agenda or deba.
Well, be some movie, dear.
Or be a basse, or be countful, said an enemy near Bay King. And so no Baba Pesicri to be everyone, or be thrown to Uncho Muna or Diaco. Wouldn't it begin come where we no one 7 it is our code of ethics, no. Ebeka, Sani, my name in who ensem. Oh, Parliament what challenges be ministers what challenges be. Erna Muntaka, Ujai, Nejuma.
Chinga.
Ayadena, Alaji, Amidu, I can't say Amidu, yini free, Nidibreso. Penning for be brain and this inco, MPP money can't come in. And never be bracisia, which Miss and come who so many bonibia, and so if you take it to webby.
But see, Sani many young tro and son and nippon womb say, we no may have a design a beba, me a design a beba. You see a transa.
Adacabre?
Young tro, na church.
Yes.
Constant interaction.
Yes.
But was it orientation period? And Kaya say, your farm ministers, how many months?
6 months more.
Within the first month or so.
Naka, we didn't cut
continuous training. In fact, not meaning say game pansu yebi. But I know maybe kakra womb, but it won't go into detail. Oh, constant training for the first few months. No one will say yes. Do's and don'ts in India. And what you walk off now, one way.
Emre Abaye me, chairman in Richie. Na many IGP could dim Koboka, feed dim community, you know. One of my camps said, and I just said, induction service in your coin and you pay it. Because we are Rashibi journey. This is what the Mran Abaye Juma. Would the security, ABDSC, tracks, any, she say, a ufri, a beer, and crying. Na o ko be a bumpurugu kai bia na no driver nkwa na tima na nkwa na woko ana se bi kura wapia bonten e mrahye bedwani bia make say ya bo ho podada oh esenka ya ma security personnel eba omo so ya training say kwan we ni ma say na betumi ahie so obo ho ban ye wia ya ma DVLA for o ma ba ba ye de ye wia ma all the most important agencies are betumi aboa sampani for ni nyina no no money naba obi abema yesa tuition no enti wo kono ye rich just a body nko anya no nko andikita within the body nso no enia makoso kama ye hwa ya ma sabi ye nsorefo a nyame semuna di omutirimu kese no omo so abane abe nkyerɛkyerɛ se ebia yesi ha ya wabai afi na bonsamfo no bedi asie wuzirati asisi ebia no oti wonya ma mrahye obi ne ni asem sesi aye mrahye bedwani metumi aka se wuzirati yi ebia sesi ni dire da yi panoku busomoso no ho ama sesi ye de ho adwuma
no ni mfoni ko
ti wo yina no
da bia me ka tell say 10% wow e bebegu out
asamo
da ko bi wana ye election na obi frem say honorable me kwatafo asiye me husi de poster ko botafo asiye na me se na me nya Ashanti region MP
ensamanfo na abeto aba
me ko ya sai me banners na me ye na me se obi anya baako e no de akọ no abusiye kwan na no pe
no de akotare
no de akotare
ensem bebre
but ono o ka bibi fa sa keta hyehye no ne yi no adakabre se kodo akese yebediaro no meni mo nyina aye adwuma na ama ese yedi na kabitiri mu ntino tikaba
adakabra friend kaba wize Ghana doso but yebeba corruption perception index ni so say Ghana for obi chess about 52%. On this one GIA for report our
bad or good
bad
so
52% now yeah no 54%. Ghana for the donor is corruption eguso aye koso but the text message say amount for the aba or say kaba please help me to get a last number and that wa kano krama mianka sakra wo sia gume or say Adom Sami from Wa kaba for the first time Esther has given a non-political and a very constructive suggestion. God bless her. Why didn't Esther refer to former President Kufuor's renovation than Mrs. Rawlings' gift? The two are the same. Timothy and Odebre. I say Mrs. Rawlings she was cautious. Or can I say, oh yes, sir. Yeah, someone say sana good morning, Kaba. Please ask Esther what all that she is saying. Did some not occur during her tenure? Minimum her tenure, which of them you are talking about? At Westel or at AG's office? Now, currently, baby, or say, hey, Charlie, today Esther make fine. make she declare her assets and her status. I say
declare your assets. I
really have some so as I say private matter to Onka. I say, Madam Esther, what you are saying is good. Yankupon Shao, a word from Maxim. I say, Honorable Esther, today you have done well. You have kept politics out of the discussion. Pat Smith from Swedru. I say, I like to know if she ever received such a gift when she was in office. And did she declare it to the public? Would she sincerely love to lead the way she sets the precedence? No, your question will be in the bar funny Dean Ankau. Or say it's all well and good for His Excellency President Mahama to come out with this code of ethics and conduct. I think it will go a long way to monitor the efficiency of all public sector workers, civil servants, government ministers, and their assistants. Alhaji Willie P. from Ifie Kuma and our dear Brain. Or say Kaba, President Mahama also warned his ministers yesterday to work with truth and honesty. Good morning, Kaba. Seriously, I'm not a fan of Esther, but I'm glad Parliament has changed her. She now speaks very well. Osafo from Mataheko, on Krahera, and all the brain. If Esther Usu is a woman, for your Bapa, she should tell us about her marital status. I wonder why she is hiding if she got married. Amoro Peter and all the brain.
Why does
why does she want to know? Because he wants to know.
Why?
Because he wants to know.
So you're interested in that?
Probably. One from Araba from Cape Coast. Please tell Esla she is pretty today more than any day. Hey, well, Kaba, why do you tag Esla as MPP MP? I think she's MP for my area. Better still, you can put the MPP into brackets if only you want to let your audience know her political affiliation. Yes, she's an MP. Yes, she is also an MP on the ticket of the MPP. I think we the Nshedanya Simbia. KD from Wa. Or say, I want to congratulate Esla for her marriage. I wish her well. George from Salaga. Asem when I'm person Modi Bay. Kaba, welcome Esther back from her Meow Church or me huni papa. Or say Nyawatro or me huni papa pacho. Come on, please wish Auntie Esther happy marriage for me. I think good morning, Mama Esther. I love you, Keke. Joe from Munkranza. And or the Ebre. I'll say Esther, you are welcome. We miss you a lot on this set. Welcome back, Esther. Please ask the temporary president. We need a temporary president to remember person the assembly me menum. And so be here the can say you. I'll say as the president will be working with the book launch yesterday, or it's just a cover up. Abdul Haq Abu in Tamale and or the brain. But yeah, corruption perception index now abano. Oshe report Ghana integrity for Eddie Abano. How much I say? About 54% of Ghanaians still believe that corruption is still high and is on the increase. Yeah, as I say here in the year, I'm saying, Oba and Amine Batos Azim, Edi Hong Komo. How do you want one, sir?
And Yamin Nema Raho. So after all these years, you would have expected Senka. Yeah, quite and the Yamin in the sense that all the judgment debts and some inflated contracts and some Wabetu Jano may have fed and fueled that perception. Near me Pessy and say, what are we going to do about it? You bet to me, I can want some na as a Fufrobia Baby boom near Jawi at all, then we move on. I dare say, agencies, sir, over the years, Sir CPIE, Eka. Mayo who say omuye corrupt no. It's still the same agencies. Ghana Police.
In fact, table no muye wa hano wa table no table no. Police is still leading.
He's still leading.
Omkuta 4.7%.
Judiciary.
The political parties come second. Omkuta 4.2%. Judiciary toss 3. Omkuta 4%. Education system ekuta 3.9%. Public and civil service, 3.6%. Parliament, 3.6%. Media, 3.3%. Medical and health services, 3%. Business and private sector, 3%. Military, 2.6%. Religious bodies, even there, even there, 2.3%. And the NGOs, 2.3%.
Nature say it's a permeating to every fabric of society. And now, yeah, I am Shishiano. You accept say a year part of your culture. Obi ye jumana ye tuane ka. One fe bibi and 5 years ya. Wolf you. And you ask yourself, say, DNT na woti hono. Wakatuana wojino. DNT ni edema. Obia didn't juma. Good or bad. We can't continue like this. Because the cost, not only the inflated cost of contracts, because Obia was also tier unofficial fees, ninti, or the come home. At the end of the day, many wire kwakota the koyeni etriaka. We cannot continue like this. Now say more than half the population. Ejidi say ketasishani proye and mimi and dia. Emreaso say yebema yemrano aye juma. Unfortunately, omu edam rana noa ombeye mranu hu adwuma ne nsoso ena omudi mu akote waketase ne proye ni mono. We need to start making concrete examples of people. Yesi afuto ensisa nipa just a social.
But most of the time these things are not even reported Westler, because they tell you be a nipa na o na you so call reporting no. Ono kra no liable, be no no kra no tua e.
Odum. Any muntaka case no. It's a classic Adimodu. Classic case in point. Instead of protecting whistleblowers, no, you're victimizing one. Maybe nye information in na you're correct. Nanso we who bibi entina oba bebo hu dawuro. Na nipa kra okobo na mane na ono an nsahye aduane ne mudi. Oya asuro oya obi edi nti hwan na ba betwe hwan aso. Amre na so say a bed draw line say enough is enough. Let us clean up our act. If you say no kan ho binti na ama bibia abo ayedin wo memu ha nukredie yemfa nya adwuma obi etwa ne nua say honesty, principle, integrity ewo memu ha de wo a wo kan nokre no na nipa bone ewo memu ha wo kan nokra no bia etunani na no egu so na o me bi say ye den tumpon ye den kokan. It's no wonder say ye market time. In fact, see apodi ye twisan ye koyechi. 54% of the populace ejidi se ketasihye ene proye ememie wo memwa. Eno aye danger signal ye yapim. And it's time we all woke up and said there be yanya hu bibi. And let us start from the gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, police, law enforcement agencies. What to no be a barber who be and him say discaka crana ko harass you be near this. Obi what genuine case near bet you near any dockets near Yira, or Attorney General's office, a Yira or court, a Yira or police. And it is a omobema yedim rana ye jumanan kasa nyom wejume year. Where does a citizen have hope? There's talk. Say court registrars, officials, the judiciary judges. Min kase sanet but me say there's talk, and it is borne out by corruption perception index. So amunyina edi. Inti sebi be the masen betu anymore. Menya tentreni. Na se institutions nankasa enye adwuma. Na individuals need lose confidence in the institutions na. Na fe aye survival of the fittest. Intiene obia na mwa o wasema no akope macho men for hire, muscles for hire. To the highest bidder. Almost so dear utria ni abe adwuma na ma. Wa betumi atua no. They don't have any allegiance to anybody. Say na wo wasemba me no me enya asem na me discuss kese ba ye be adwuma amam ni akodufudufu obi ye de call police station na se emfa nkokota ni aye asem ne ngongran enkosi aga enti obi ani gidie se mede masem kodan police fo a ye mo so behwe mu no maye ni ye na akopie court na menya tentrene na ye de ye ato yi. Where are we going as a nation? Where are we going as a nation? It is time for everybody to sit up. Media the American is the omwedi no mu ninko.
Nyaka ne
mo ho ban. Obia na sema ba betodwa. Yen hyase fi 2011. 2010, 2011 Auditor General's report na as starting point. Na yen fanya adwuma. Na nipa enhu se ampa ye wo mra wo memu ha ye de ye adwuma. Na se mra na nya adwuma de a God save us all.
Se mra na nya adwuma God save us all. Don travel my pounds media san enum anisa text message na fi mi ko ra Georgia ho na we no a ye be call Ghana skasem hihye mu ye say Ghana is not broke but we have challenges. No crepa na any day finance minister and the atudwa Bonti Benjamin the strike action by the NDC communicators with the case no na do am say answer no but that is say MP NDC for government communicators almost say
strike ma abanka sama for so strike
aban hwe o mu ye well Bonti Benjamin you baby sem come allow the submission of your panelists today on the code of conduct for ministers and government appointees. They should continue like that on other topics too. Or say passport office corruption there. How they bubruja. Robert Opon writes or say Kaba. Your topic is spot on. Gifts easily corrupt officials and treated with a lot of caution in most strong-willed anti-corruption societies. Remember, Mrs. Clinton was accused of accepting some gifts of cookery at the White House, which was prevented from taking them away at the end of the second term of President Clinton. Hope this throws more light on the topic. Robert Opon, or say, or a DBA Finance MBA doctoral candidate, I think in Germany. Okay, or here in Anope. One, or say, what am I hearing? Code of conduct for ministers, the same code of conduct that was thrown to the dogs upon his arrival. The government of President Mills, of which JM was VIP, told us its commitment to react to even newspaper publications of acts of corruption. Hypocritically, when caught pants down and neck deep in the acts of corruption, same government asks for the press to adduce evidence to these revelations. It is under this present government that 33 million Ghana cedis was used for phantom guinea fowl and afforestation projects. We are yet to see action taken on them. Eliasu from Tamale. Or the Ebre, or say Kaba, when did the president realize that the need for his government to have a code of ethics? Is the code of ethics going to supersede the national constitution? The corruption has become a social canker, and it's a clear violation of the 1992 constitution. Yet corrupt officials are allowed to go free without any action from government. And no any emails are amount for the Abba Obeniata. Corruption, 54%. Ghana afford it on IGD say.
You are Kaba. Corruption, no. Said ye, a man penny that I can say if you are Adam Bresso. True. Said Ghana for who be a easy to us here. Kaba. Corruption to me free me muda. Ende maka, then be a baby ameko be ameka. Enya dia ketashi shepa na adwiri die. Eni bibini pa ntembe pa isida.
Bibini.
Abi before.
Nipa ina abrafo no so mo e bi e corrupt pa.
Abrafo de nimpo de ye. Na obi kan yasrese mi kire mi se nipa miensa bi eti erupremu ko na. Yesi abi obi abedu bi na waka. Na ba akon hwe ya ru hu sai Paris tower tintin ye si we no hwe decoration se ono so madru kromo ha ye Paris nti Messi ne esi no America ni nso dru ye ono so hwe America ni ma o ye hwe ya no ono so aka me so Messi ha o bibidi ne so timu o hwe ye ne race watch e bo na o hwe se ya tie free one o se me so madru krom
nti ye fa ni nsi hefa
ni nyina de se krono no ene ye ho age fiti ye nkwara abrem ede ba nyina ya hemfie no ne local level no nyina no ehɔ start na mpempi na de ma corruption no entumi mfiri mu ne say ni ono eye de ewo corruption no say o dwirim die wa ha kata hyehyɛ wa ha no ordinary hwe politicians first emire bi agana ni bi anim say eye politician ni no ena dwirim die de kata hyehyɛ no owo enti ansa ne yehunu say sika die na na say dwirim die na koso obenkum ana say nifa no na kyese die bi die die awie enti on tell say Ghana fo ye behwe ne ho executives no ni ahwe judiciary no ni ehuru boni a yekoso wo ho no adakabre enkoda me mrahye bedwani a mete ekofiata misoro mi ho se sika bi kora na mede nsa ko ho a mi se mede midine nye enti mi ko nyina misoro mi ho minister na wote ho no o ko nyina no osoro ne ho director na chief director na wote ho no oni obi ani asem ni obi na to aba pia no eno an se wo ye da djuma sika no obedi ni se de auditor general's report krono kitikiti bi ba mu enso adakabre sa krono mi hu eso krono bi da se a whole accountant ya ma o check se fa check ko ma secondary school o de check ne ko ya check ne ye 60 Ghana cedis ena like 6 me throw the figure e me hu 6,000 very good check ne 6,000 Ghana cedis o ko du asi mo ma me ko yisika de mra na da kaba oko no ena kwan so check ne dia san bibia wi o ya throw 6,000 no 6 na 0 miensa eni ya throw 6 ni so agu o oduru kwan mu na 6 no de 0 ba ko hye anim
60 odane ni 60,000
ena ti no 6 no so na ya throw no odi ty eso to
na dane
60,000 Ghana cedis ya sign check na wi eno ko yi sika do ena obeti wo mu 6,000 ni ma wo mu and 54,000 Ghana cedis no abedi onu ni ho na oni biye the whole be 2-3 years ye hunu be 4 years time ansa ni hunu said no accounts we no bank ni mabu ye komu ana accountant na ono be yiska ena afes Kennedy hwede ye say internal revenue die yi ekosi ye a internal revenue service IRS na watumi akọ another accounts na ese no o de am ni ho ya ka ho na Samuel etisike de be ma asefa koto IRS mu no
na de koto company mu
enya mrahye bedwani na ye onya politician na ye o fa auditor general reporter e free tititi be ni nyina na civil servants no eno mu nyina se adwiri die ne ne market asese ne ne ma ekọ nyina no eba o mu anso de influence politicians kwese mrahye bedwani ma ko bi kurum bi assume sipe light we na MP aba ya kire odwen otuadua e de aba bode ye sum ho se de kan ne de abrami wo be da ka se mrahye bedwani menye woje bode ye wie ya de chen ya na kokoko be bie dan no na nantuma agum chia meti akiri assembly man kan ho ya ba MP we de ya te se electric post ni bia ba nkina na we de nke ba be hu na wada roma wo yi bia mi nu bi de ama ensu bia na be no mutirin kan ho wa wi odwan na wie di body na wie dia na be ka kire na nanu unnim da ka kire na se we de mesere we nye yi asem nti ese ekuro bi die no odane na ade ma se ekuro no mara che bedwani na ye corrupt no enso ifiri ba bi ifiri yenye hu se na ozileke honorable ozileke yenye hu se aye o minister pe
no bi eba
are chin ya bi abachi ya wo mo mampo se aye o na o de ye ba nanka ye ba be ma wo akwa ba na ya bo atena se ntu ye ba yi na nanom kura ya hene ma ye kura ntoma ba ko ye kura wi ne de aba
sum wafiri
ya you
tifidi sumo no ye nya de usi hwa na mfidie na start enti senka code of ethics ye de be na nke de ahyem se woni kwan se okoche minister kura de woni kwan se okoche MP ade woni kwan se okoche president ade ene nka turo do nke ne kura nke de nyame ase
Mika, yes, I can't man for you about President Mills or Tiasier. Hampers crowd kwa anya de obed.
Yes. Onye. Cause so one share enu ye.
No,
say usu wudi e kire a. Oh. Usu wudi e kire a. Na Hampers na kura de kire kura, ye check eke o adakabre. Wo de me kaba besro, ti say na ye na wanya no ho. Enu ho adwene na. Kaba woda be ke bia Hampers ye obede man ye bro nya bre ni Easter bre ni yi no wo de da ko she da fa hamper ba ko ne nnuane ne nneɛma na egum no nyinaa no yɛ ahwɛ expiry dates egu ho no awidi a wɔde di yɛn ɔde abɛkyɛ ɔsɛ hapo na yɛ nya adagye na fa hampers no wode wɔfa America na abɛhwɛ anu ahwɛ expiry date coke na abɛfa ahwɛ expiry date na abɛhwɛ awidi a wɔn kɔn mu di yɛ wɔ ho so wɔ ho ɛsɛ mo ka police fo asɛm nyinaa me tia nyina me tirim ayɛ me yi mani ewu bitirim yɛsɛ me yɛ chairman for defense and interior aba bɛtɔ ayi so net so sɛ dwirimu die de ho Ghana yɛ kan police fo didi kan dia na chairman me yɛ sɛsi ɔsɛ me kɔ ya me ma committee ni yɛtena se ne yɛfrɛ yɛ IGP yɛfrɛ mpanimfo aka ne ho sɛ nim guase a bɛgu yɛ ha ni o mu wa no yɛ mmara me yi
afie bia so na moto police table no police
asɛm no oh nti yɛ ade ka sɛ wo kan nyinaa mani ewu mitrim na meti asisi yɛ yɛ ka sɛ yɛ mmara hye bedwafo ekura yɛ te ha yi
yes yɛ wo
obi nim sɛ yɛ mmara hye bedwa police ni no ɔde nyansa kwan kora bɛgye afiri ho oh ɔna bo we di ɔma wa ha o we di na afi awɔde yɛ ni o ɛne Friday oh ɔmfa force ma ɔbɛserew sɛ ochi driver ni abi ɔbɛgye 1 cedi na sɛ 5 cedis wo mmara hye bedwa ni bia wotumi yɛ yi 50 Ghana because wo hwɛ dom na egu wɔ police fu egu asɛ o we di ɔmo dɔ so no bi 50 Ghana wan for agaze wan for so na gye enso kwan ofa so gye ye no ya ka dwirimu na e ka ho bi se si a me ne woti ya kasa yi kaba problem kɛseɛ paa bi wo se si a challenge kɛseɛ paa as a chairman of defense and interior ye sika bi a prosifo agye se ye de nkura akoto adwuma mu
recruitment asem
say ye hu asem because ye me so me responsibility say me protect police di no cause me ye committee ni njire say da bi o ma asem bone nkwa na fabra ba bi asem no nso kɔ bone no ese won so hwɛ protection a wo de be ma wo na nya sa na ase se ni nyina do abetu dwa no say ya enso hwɛ se asem akɔfa abe ɔnti se bi de mra ba se won so adi sika ne kɔ ma no nso won so akɔyɛ dwirim nti won so do sika ahye na nya sa pa ne yɛ de tenase ni aka pa wa hwɛ ye be ye ama mpanimfoɔ pa se bi obonu anyam wo police adwuma no ahwɛ ya no mo kwa keka ho bi enti minim sɛ enye dan a prosifo ni tie yen minim sɛ enye dan a mo tie yen na uzra ka sɛ de mo adini die ni nko na emom sɛ sie die aba no de ye be sɛ betu ye nan esi so sɛ beya ye nhwɛ sɛ sɛ nim guase no wo hwɛ sɛ a whole security agency na sɛ aman foforo na ebe Ghana no ana e wa buruchiri e ko sɛ security agency dis kura na omo protect yen na omo anu mo na sɛ akwa start mu a oh pani ahwe etena fi ahwe mankura we nanka no
kaba na nkarefo
ya kana nkarefo yi ni free
oka ho bi
yi ni free ye contractors be bre ahwe ase because of corruption any who yi cause all koji contract no
ya te dada
10% ese utua de ba obi di ono ba be inspect contract no
ono so be je ne de
ese utua de ma no di ono kura koji issue certificate
ono so
e di ama ono ese ojo de it is a contract near 1 billion contractor and I say 100,000 Ghana contractor ni nim say me se me de eniema dodo ne ade me se be mfa nya adwuma nyina afrenchim na eye de a ene ahwe ya me tai kora me ntumi ntobi nhiem nti oso no nso hwe say cement ba akuntwa block bi a be 20 a obetwa block be 40 nti agye no be yesi won enche na say cause wa nya ne saa je won wa wie kura na nka se ebo na ba so asomasi ma opiaw o certificate ni kwaju sika no ono kura certificate no mfa ma no obi awie ne contract dadaada bibia ye kama wo ho
wantua hwe
nti
ye mfa ne sika
ntia ne ka abepem ne oh ahwe ade ba ko a ebo man nchi enti na meka se me me nhwe politicians ne nko a na nye saa
public servants
civil servants ene diaka ena nwuma a woga na ha no hwe kaba si adwuma bi a woga na bia ni no kuretrodo na si yentua ye to ne bi akama kametumi aka se me kuro magora nka bi egu ye kwan so kuta tax evasion wo ma abo yetrimu pose sika a yenya no yentua hoto no bebre kwa wobekwa adwuma kakra kam obi odipa be wa ha ewom enipa ha no ebi a 70% of them mu aha adioso no omujo musika fa mpumem emu aduasa pe ene ko bank ko gi sika
so nu se bank dey fa e beti
very good ɛsɛ oye nipa no social security na de to amogya adwuma na daakye bia no you sika edi gya ne kwan me nako ɛsɛ yɛ ti nipa ne tax ɛsɛ adwuma no yɛ to tax ɛne ho yi ɛnam sɛ saa tax no mo pɛ si yɛtua ne nti no hwehwɛ na akwa didia menne sɛ sɛ on sɛ computer placement ayi de ba edi nti ne de ba ɛnyɛ dwiri mi di yɛ nti corruption 54% no mo kan no me de bi nyɛ expert o ebi kura na nka number 70 plus na bia ebi nimu ne yɛ kɔ so nti no ɛnyɛ sɛ bia ma ban wɔ power nti na me ka sɛ me free sɛ me kan sɛ so twa ɛno be save aboa yɛ hwɛ sɛ first on sɛ okɔ pɛ ɛkwan ma ba wɔ school mu a first nsa abrɛ na technology nkɔ anim kɛse nti sɛ okura deck ba akɔ no okura tumi nya girlfriend no ɛsɛ ɔde deck hyɛ wa moto sɛ yɛ nemre mu na sɛ ɛkɔ a ebi anka iPad LCD screen ɛnom ne Samsung S4 nom ne yɛ na ɛsɛ nke
o de go ma hwan
headmaster
o be nya vision to
hey talking about that kwale tro won exam moment start mo dey
ya start class from
I am shishu
university so many akwa ensem bebre eno ni nyina planning your system penifo kwa mfaso tu anamon fa adwen yes 2 batches atrabom
last year kwa said you 4 year for ni try anything almost school munya crap na heading na afie 2 batches ya try wie September omo kwai
ya nhwe de omo ayi omo si ono na mo mutu say you
Ministry of Education Ghana Education Service
Deputy Minister of Education in charge of tertiary education some of Kujito Ablakwa started call rounds public universities inspected projects are and in correspondence in Ibikoi and a lot of the projects will not even be ready by September. Admitted. Say na Ministry of Education part of say Oma universities need to me absorb maybe polytechnics, teacher training colleges and nursing training for absorb Oma can.
We are working. Say you the blame me by the politicians when you say
because the decision was taken by politicians.
Very good, but it's executive who implements. Or no director of education, your minister of education, your heads education your committees, several committees in education. Minimum say this is the number that comes out every year, and this is what we have to do. GSF's concept bar fraud. This thing happened. Every year the DGSS. You started see a DGSS eba, you started akwana fi no nku school for to IB will call say 3 years no aba beka aba SS. There was that crash. And so they manage it. Ama ekoi. They should have known say this time that thing too is coming.
2009 I am take his decision no.
Say 3 years no.
3 years yes I revert no. No munim time and no best but what
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have a whole generation, one future. Yeah, say one future because of decisions we politicians be taking here.
And today say committee there is a committee on it near who in the enhwe adwuma omo ye.
Esa ye tell me yaso monitor for mama.
Yo, me kan kwa wie ye no. Mesre say yesi ye kan dwemudi a ma obi anyi ne hu mfirim. Ebi yesi aye kan. Obi body trinko wa chiro say ha asem no aka no. And so no ankasa nso en review the movie. Yeah, can so can so for the ebem.
So for the ebem. Mr. Chiro for the ebem.
Ene okwa sorry a. Where we sika so na atenanim. Wo di sika a wo tie akiri. Empire no kura ye boni was special prayers.
Difference wo.
Yase wo muntua way for special prayers. Wo akotua ne ama special prayer. Ne adi nsuo be ba ka say bura mu nsuo. Ana say nsuo a ye hyira so na nsuo a ti sei. Enti wo sika sei no fabra na beji. Me gina ho ama me huzumi mo sofo ni din Kumasi abontin so cultural center amo se obi a wa wo fisika bra ne mo mpae ma wo abawe bi ni bi wo de 5 series na call you know masma okan wo abawe fefet etese wo ukura se sika we di bra se mo mpae ma wo e ofe nti enye wo di bra se
onkoton ho no onye sika fo mpae wo
sofo mu ya wo afi meti na me wo high table ho bi metu afi me sia afi me se eh
onyame fie
yes you are saying you
yes I say
talking about corruption no Uncle Bo White Mesrena the latest play What's My Name one sanye bio no bi ankonkoshe Yes, sorry, we are pointing fingers at others.
Radio Omega.
Radio Omega, pa me every year ba me call Radio Omega. Obie ye bi kro omemo ha. Obie won nyonko po.
Well.
Won nyonko po.
I say obi ajifi obi ni yonko botom.
Na me ka say yen starting ka say ayeye. Sisi ade yapem.
Now the crack we about 2 minutes be pay. Say we are not broke but your challenges. Isika sem no nyese atete apansam na mum ye how makoma. Sima ba ko ne emfa ko time aso.
Me de me quote you no a se tekpe na ahyase na ya man for start can say government checks bounce near men ko ye. You see we are not broke but we are in the red. The economy is in the red. Na economy e wo in the red and it broke. What's the difference? And no as abrofu na bi na o kan wa ha sei no. Ye jeje to ye tietie aka enti we are not broke. Really? Our bank checks bounce.
Also revenue is looking good. But
is it?
Expenditure and a problem.
Really? Expenditure and a problem. You do both. You increase revenues and you reduce expenditures. What have they done? Ekadada omude no ma yomadwin so omutua na said ye. And na ye dwiri bi gu. Priority projects your first ka wo he ne de aye. Ni nyina nka expenditure no ho. Airport I see be your schools I see be your fine ko si. Ni nyina nka expenditure no ho. And they are pipe dreams. I'm sorry. But say bucket ni nyua. Wush wam tietie tokro na so san hwiensuo gu mu a. Esenyugu. What have they done to plug the revenue leakages? Auditor General's reports ne go bubrujai. Judgment debts na emimiye. Dia na mo na banye tu. Se baby akwan ya nkrofo fa so edi aban sika no. Ye be twetwetwetwe asa tokro ni nyina ansa nya asa kope bia babio. Taxes. Enne subsidiary legislation committee. Ye kwa consider LI on new proposed fees and charges. For everything aban eduma ye bia eduma bia aban eye bia ye je ho to no ye betu
and you different from nearby last week na
patro we dey afa na ebeba yewu
now also your committee member
committee member
we are it is a book aban dia ba
Ghana
everything chop bar for driver for everything.
Every idea tax as MP Omale Parliament.
Mrs. Secretary, you consider. And Yemele, ye pre-laying workshops and sana. Ye dey about the house near her say.
It's different from tax stamp. Tax stamp.
Very different.
Where different? Me see where nyamai.
Okay.
Every fee, charge, levy imposed by a state agency, ministry, department or agency on any service they provide. Ye betum. Na ye ji say we sika nyina ria. Ya san dia kogu bokiti enyum na manfo afa ho edi ya yenwen Ghana fo ho na ye bre
orata ye tell maso an sa we sima ba ko fe yenko na
we are broke on kan okra ne nkire
ha de me ne nua be nya adwene se ya ye broke ra fi se metumi aka se
ofa
Sub-Saharan Africa ne mpona Ghana ya bo ye ho modin pa fa Cote d'Ivoire for Nigeria ne de ka ho so comparatively no hwe revenue eba ni adwuma mejiri say yeah because gemi hu say abo ye form kakra e we sika ho no tituru pa no sa review of your salary structure no single spine e ba no because we say be a police ni na oji 2 million at the end of the month na prekope na oji 8 million ya jump on be times 4 ade anke bia bosome nan
mo be implement no ade na munim se sa na beba
say any implementation bia no
u bisa question bia na say
any implementation
say be mo anwe ho asa na mo implement it ade
kaba any implementation bia won challenges any implementation new implementation bia won challenges
mate
bro ado dan chen ya o say na o kan no na e ka bebregu ho no ma yentua ye contractors die ye wo say wokọ to say defense kura na even suppliers kura na ma ye niam no we still owe them
Obani,
there are a lot of
yeah, fancy. I'm
Some
saying,
way,
come on, I'm
Mama,
also
to aduane bɛma ka
I don't pay.
Say, I don't know, I can't want to say, unpaid debts, no, I don't know,
You better accommodate no so. Meaning say, I don't pay no.
Into revenue,
Alright, George Kofiata, Committee on Defense and Interior. Committee on Defense and Interior. O chairman we dey na mentie ebo abaso. Say okwo anima anisa. And a member of parliament for Memphis Central. Pen ye da so papa. And a lawyer Esla Owusu member of parliament with or without South, she's still Ablekuma Southwest. Within the Kaba, now session Kwenkoma team of producers and the entire crew of Fanway so as same my the bro. Me say Philippians 4:8. Me na sekania. Me nimni awo de Yamisha.